base is being destroyed. I don't know how to say that delicately. So
he's one of a kind.
He is. His Snowflake is a good one.
He's always a pleasure to watch.
Yes.
Whether it's for good or bad reasons, he's always a pleasure to watch. Now, we are also watching the bottom lane 2v2, but I'm sure it's going to pan away the second we start talking about it. But ultimately, this is expected. This is the lane control you'd expect. Varus has push over Vayne. Alistar is not really relevant until level 2, maybe 3, where Rakan can be from level 1 if he starts with the W. So that's entirely for the matchup. We will have at the same time, though, the differences between lane control that Maokai and Shen, usually goes to Shen, have a mid lane should go towards the Corki. And that's the one place that Swift has going for him early game for lane pressure that he can then use as that very easy pivot point.
Yeah, and that's what we see right now is Coco is just trying to dominate Guoguo in this lane and push him back. It was a Dark Seal refillable, so not a huge amount of sustain for him, as Scuttle Crab was locked down by Swift. SOFM looks to catch up.
And Swift is waiting on cooldown, so he's not going to look towards a trade. The way that you will play that out as Gragas into Rek'Sai is if you hit the body slam, you win the trade, then you walk away.
That was a flash from SOFM.
Oh, he's angry.
It's double buff. Ooh, the big bite. And you can see there's no assistance from Sky. He's pushed under his turret by Flandre and a full level down.
Yeah, it means the risk of the dive is always there.
Flandre, ooh, pulls his sword through. SOFM is right there.
You've got to love the mind games of Flandre there, just playing Ring Around the Rosie with him on the turret. Now, all of this is still getting inside track if Flandre wants to help SOFM. So, very unique start here.
Ooh, that's damage onto SOFM. He's low. Smite by both of them. Looked like that went over to SOFM, and they both blast plant over the wall. Swift is still following. Flash from Sky. He wants it. He knows there's no escape from SOFM. The knockup. First blood for Swift as Coco joins in. The heal onto his top laner. He's damaging Flandre. Has he got enough? Flash gets Flandre a kill, but it's 2 for 1. Swift in match point.
Imagine being SOFM now, Dom. You've just flashed to assert dominance in the river, not to get a kill, and suddenly you need that flash to survive. Newbee flash over the wall to kill you, so there's a much more valuable, and this game has just opened up for the Gragas, for Swift to get 2 kills. Top lane still goes heavily to Flandre, but it was always going to, and so this is that moment where Swift can decide the fate of all of Snake for this year just by gifting him the 2 kills, and that's on the back of an SOFM move.
He's going to get another opportunity here as he is heading towards the Raptor camp, but it's already been started out by Swift, and Coco's on the wall as well. There's no smite available for Swift, and even Guoguo gets brought over here. So despite all of that trading, all of that skirmishing, SOFM is still the one who has the advantage.
Yeah, so Swift has the gold lead. He doesn't have the experience lead, so he doesn't necessarily have the inside track. Coco also had to deal with a mid-wave that was pushed in by the Kassadin. And so it does kind of still give this big window where SOFM can try and punish. But as it stands, you look at these 2 kills and you still say that it's really big for Newbee if he can equalize this. Because right now, I mean, he's still putting in more work than he should be.
Yeah. Hoodie was walking over there with Flash, Smite, or Flash Ignite Grand Entrance.
Yeah, SOFM is something else.
Yeah, that is aggressive. And if there's no chance LWX and Chris can catch up there, it's Doran Shield Health Potion from him to try to catch this wave.
And there is like, I'm picking a Cog Lulu and I don't have lane control wave, and there is I'm an Alistar Vayne and we're literally a relevant type of 2v2, and that's what they are right now. There are moments where like that where Hootie has to show some respect. If Alistar smacks the ground, he'll be under the turret. But still, you're waiting for this. And Swift, we said he had the gold. Maybe he doesn't have anything else. He's waiting for his laners to start to come online. Newbee, they're okay with being at a slight deficit, even if it's not substantial. They'll be happy to have 15 CS down in every lane if that's what it takes. Because eventually they'll scale up better.
Oh, Hoodie, you knew he was there. You saw him on the ward. He did cancel that grand entrance. And Crystal will walk back, allowing for a quick shield for the escape of Hoodie.
Yet, oddly enough, of course, through just laning phase alone, Snake have a lot. They have a lot of advantages. AD carry CS, top lane CS differential. It's all starting to ramp up and look really good for Snake.
Oh man, even the Shadow Dash outside of the turret to deny these minions. Take a look at that difference between Flandre and Sky. You just talked about it a bit. That's 21 CS. Another 15 down for LWX on the bottom half.
It certainly is. And Kassadin's hit level 6 relatively unimpeded. Of course, a bit of a roam from Coco is going to help that quite substantially. As I'd say this is an overreach from Swift. He shouldn't be invading. He shouldn't be pushing for vision into SOFM when he's this far behind. He's just level 4 for the record. That gank bottom lane was wasted time. Continuing to push. I'm not a big fan of what Swift's doing in this one.
He was trying to look for some vision on the blue buff. He spotted it out, but again, Guogo pushes in the mid
And
lane.
look what happens.
SOFM even shows up to help, and now Swift has to finish this red on his own. A level down on the smite. It's low. And he's able to lock it down, but still, level 4 for Swift, and SOFM is still on the prowl.
He does have his blue buff to go to. He's going to sack the Raptors immediately, so SOFM will go to those eventually once he's done trying to detect his opponent with the ground tremors. But it means that Swift, for what it's worth, and again, we spoke towards the gold difference, experience catch-up mechanics are a wonderful beast that will assist a lot.
And yeah, he heads on over to Wolf, gets level 5. Bit of an engage now onto Hoodie. Chains of Corruption. It's still only level 5 for Crisp. Just looking for some additional damage to continue dominating this lane down here.
Warlord's Bloodlust is only going to do so much for LWX. Crisp has the passive as Alistar, which will heal him sometimes, but it's still massive amounts of control given to the bottom lane of Snake, and they are well and truly in the driver's seat down there. The difference is starting to creep back up, however, as the Maokai becomes relevant. Mid lane, it is still, you'd say, in Guogo's favor because it's equal.
Scary place for a Kassadin to be. Swift looks for a gank top just at the same time as SOFM. Sky is so far down in stats, but he is level 5 to the level 6 of
Corky
SOFM.
has package.
Yeah, he's racing up towards that top lane. Teleport used from Kassadin to join in. They're looking for SOFM. He buys time by leaping in. The Stand United and the Shield are not enough. And that's SOFM dead again. Swift with the flash body slam. Flandre's still got his own flash, the auto attack, but it's red buff slow. Coco wants it. Boss bomb rocket, and Flandre survives.
Yeah, Coco's able to get up here far sooner with the package. Guogo teleports. Is not going to be in time. The weirdest part about all of that, Flandre is lucky to be alive because for no reason after SOFM dies, Shen ult doesn't follow through, and he would say thankfully, honestly, as the outcome to that, he does survive, but he starts walking towards them. So Newbee, they're able to bounce back. The reason they are able to bounce back is a very much commendable thing from them, is they pretended they were going to blue buff. They weren't actually going to blue buff, but the pathing from Coco and Swift was not through vision of Snake. Snake assumed and thought they had an opportunity to get a free gank off. Maokai was being aggressive. They should have expected that aggression was for a reason.
And again, it's all in the details, looking for the tiny differences that reveal these plays. As LWX gets 6, he actually goes right onto Crystal. Look at the damage.
He'll take it. Of course, his life's still on the Varus, so I'm not sure why he's taking it, but he will.
I mean, LWX has Warlord, so he'll get health back as well.
And Crystal, I believe, was just off having the ultimate. He probably had it, just didn't throw it out. And Hootie was not nearby. So, I mean, that was just a curious trade coming out of LWX. Still signs of life down there. You'd be happy for him.
Starting to leap forward, trying to get back into CS, and as SOFM looks to give blue buff over to Guogo. Mid lane is pushed in by Coco.
LWX is out of this lane, basically, once they start to push in. If any more arrows hail down onto him, then he is in ult range from Crystal. Crisp has to stand in front, basically, and be a tank. But that means he's going to soak up damage, and they start to lose that 2v2 slowly. That's with an Infernal Drake, which is something that we haven't really highlighted too much here.
We're still seeing great vision control from Snake on this bottom half of the map, as SOFM is skirmishing and fighting over every single thing that he possibly can. Even Hoodie went for the Sight Stone to try to get additional vision to supplement this and allow this bottom lane to take an advantage. So,
yeah,
it's looking pretty big right now.
I mean, SOFM is 0-2, but the amount of presence he's had on the Rift has been something of note. It doesn't directly reflect through his score. He's not playing for KDA at the moment, that's for certain. And honestly, I do feel like the pressure he's had, barring that one weird flash, has been working.
Oh, that's the grand entrance immediately after that tumble. We're starting to see these trades as Crystal just heals himself back up, getting so much harass on that bottom half.
Yeah, note that Crisp was always in front of LWX as well, though. So while Snake won the trade, they were never able to just all in straight after winning that trade. It does just settle down a bit more. However, we are still seeing absolute lane dominance asserted by Crystal.
Even Flandre in the top lane is 20 CS ahead of Sky. The lanes right now are going great for Snake. And their early game, again, looks strong, even with a late game Kassadin for scaling. And Newbee find themselves with slightly more patchy vision than in game 1.
So the thing is, the 20 CS difference in top lane hasn't grown. It's pretty much remained at about the same. And most of that Sky, he's been last hitting decently well under turret, but he's been sacrificing his health to ensure the trades are going equally for CS. He's not going to trade well for health, though. Flandre massively wins that, has the ultimate. That means that Snake have complete control, not just of the 2v2, not just of bullying in the bottom lane, but bringing down SOFM, threatening a 5-man if they want. Always a possibility.
Oh, that's the dive. Chains of Corruption. He's tagged LWX, who flashes, tumbles into the wall, dodges the vision, condemn onto Crystal, but the chase from SOFM, he's got enough damage. Stand United as Sky TP's in. He trades it 1 for 1, but Crystal is still firing and is still high health. Coco's trying to collapse, but you can see it's 2 on this
Newbee's
side.
still
The
looking.
flash knock up. Chris tries to find it. Coco's not there yet. The engage from Sky. He goes low and he goes down. The auto attack finally drops Flandre, but SOFM is doing a lot, and Crystal is still shooting at Crisp. He flashes in to get on the other side, and Coco flashes for the rocket as the turret goes down, and here comes Guoguo. Coco does not stand a chance against this Castellan with no health and no mana, walks into a ward and knows he is dead. Even going to allow the minions to finish it off. Insult to injury.
Yeah, it's Snake just casually walking out. Compliments of Guoguo and SOFM playing it nicely. Crystal also acknowledging the fact that he was going to die, so maximizing his damage output. We get to see how all this starts once again. Catching LWX off, and you say, well, you know what? Credit to him for playing it decently to survive for as long as he did survive. Gives time for the teleport to come in. Hootie tanked for maybe 1 turret hit too long. Might have been able to get out of this. The concern comes from this point. They decide to go back in. It's a nice pulverize from Crisp. He's kiting around as best he can to stay alive, and Coco's coming in, but Flandre, by having the W on the ground, I mean, Coco's not doing all that much damage this early, didn't have the full Trinity Force, is Sheen proc reliant, but wasn't able to auto attack and had to use his W to get in, so he was dead. He flashed to trade.
And not only that, as we said, the first tier 1 went down in that engage, so Newbee tried to trade back, but now they find themselves a turret down. Snake are accelerating the pace by sending 2 members top, as Crystal and Hootie look to break it down. Even SOFM is on that side of the map, but Coco has been brought to try to expedite things for Snake.
And he has a Trinity Force, so he's actually spiking quite large right now with the package, with the Trinity Force. They should get this extremely quickly and threaten Flandre, it looks like.
Even the package onto the minions.
Just a little bit. He's not going to kill him.
That's the Foss Bomb as the turret is broken bottom. SOFM's working on Herald, and Sky, can he possibly hold that on his own if Herald and 3 members of Snake show up?
No, I don't think he can. Swift is going to try and hold this middle lane, and he'll do it successfully just because he has threat with red buff and ultimate. This means that, again, we saw the package used by Coco bottom. He's looking to pressure the second turret. He trades health to ensure that Flandre is as low as he can make him before the turret comes into play. And so they continue. Now, the Herald will be summoned. Will start to make a difference eventually when they get to use it.
Yeah, SOFM is racing towards mid right now. He steps
Sky,
forward, immediately
flashing to
challenging it.
cancel it. Yeah, get him.
Oh, yeah, does not get the cancel. Here's a very big Herald breaking down the mid tier 1. So many pings to try to defend it. Ooh, but a big slam. And Snake
And he will
actually
defend
give it up. Yeah.
They're just going to go to the blue buff as a higher priority objective than breaking mid. They knew that Newbee were rotating, and they're just going to take what they can. 2 turrets were taken bottom lane. It's pretty good from Newbee.
Yeah. Still a lot of potential for Snake to get back in. It's low health on that mid tier 1, and Snake are right there.
This is that timing where if Newbee are able to secure this one, which you'd expect they wouldn't just based off Snake being hidden, if they did get it, then at least they trade again. The real winner here is being able to break open the map more so. For Snake, having an early pressure team like they do and wanting to win early game like they always want to, well, now they are basically doing that. The gold doesn't reflect it, but you'd still say that they are conclusively winning early game, much better at least than game 1.
Absolutely. Now Swift, the vision set up by the rotation of Newbee just a few moments ago allows him to see this blue buff. He smites to secure it. So that means that Swift will be the one carrying that around, not Coco. So at the very least, Snake have got that going for them.
Yeah, this is that point in the game, however, with a Vayne on your roster where you don't really know where to put her. Like, does she go bottom and clear the way? Well, Maokai's already doing that one. Does she go up against a Cassidy? Well, I feel like she would lose that. So now you have to put a Corki out there and put Vayne mid, but she doesn't have wave clear. Might have static shiv completed now, does. I mean, that's an amount of wave clear. But if Snake look at a Vayne mid, they just stare at a Vayne, they say, all right.
They have a hearty chuckle.
We'll probably siege that one. Let's just siege that lane.
They have already swapped Crystal and Hoodie towards this lane. The Varus much better at the wave clear. Finally, LWX backs out, starts heading top.
He waits for it to crash onto the turret before he commits to going for the minion wave. He's going to lose some from that, but it also means that if you're trying to dive him, Guogo in this case, it's not going to be all that successful, so he'll be able to pick up a free wave. But now it means that Snake know where Vayne is. They can try and pressure this themselves. SOFM is really trying to put the team on his back here.
He's trying real hard. Now, Flandre split pushing bottom with level 2 of his Stand United. The wave crashes in as Coco tries to break it down. Here's that lack of a blue buff in action. He's running low on mana. Even Sky has been brought away from that bottom lane to help defend this potential siege.
Trying to conserve his mana though, Coco. He's not using all of his spells, just usually one bomb, one phosphorus bomb. That clears the backline enough. If you're able to auto-attack them, then it's just the Q and one auto.
Yeah, and again, LWX swapped towards the mid lane as Coco has to recall for Merc Treads.
Timing's good, however, Dom. You know, we mentioned that Snake might look at this and laugh before they start sieging. Well, they're in base. They're not going to be able to siege at this point in the game.
And it's really tough for them to try to get themselves back into this. Of course, Coco, he's starting to get some items, starting to get some damage. As LWX, he's now 40 CS behind Crystal after that laning phase. A full half an item behind.
And all I can say is thank God he is, because that's expected. You don't want to see Vayne's winning the early game or something went seriously wrong. You don't want to see Snake losing the early game to a Vayne or something went more wrong than you'd ever want it to be, especially for a playoffs team, which is Snake right now. They need to be closer to their top tier self. And with one game remaining, one game defeat between them and being eliminated from the whole season, they had to show up big. That 40 CS deficit, whilst it wasn't an abundance of kills, is still the CS difference you would expect.
And as we get closer towards that 20-minute mark, both Cloud Dragon and Baron are going to spawn at about the same time, so much less incentive to try to break down those dragons earlier on. Crystal moves in. Gets a few auto attacks, slowly getting closer. Swift from the side with the cask. He's found the knock-up, and look at how far back that Shen gets carried. Flandre buys a lot of time and will eventually burn down to Crisp's Ignite.
Yeah, they weren't able to get it. Sky is still looking there with the Righteous Glory.
Oh, the cat army marches Nature's Grasp as Hoodie tries to stall it out a package, and Crystal's over the wall and away from the army. LWX, it's the final hour. It's the final countdown as he chases. So much speed on that Varus, but you can't escape a Vayne. Gets gifted over a kill.
When Vayne flashes that wall and presses ult, you know you're just running for your life and hoping that your team can trade. Now, they will trade, and they will get the mid lane out of turret. So whilst LWX is happy he's got himself a kill, Crystal is just really confused as to why they tried that hard to kill him while Snake take turrets.
No one knows but for Newbee, and they're able to answer it back. Here's Swift with a big barrel to kick it off.
Yeah, fantastic engage. Flandre is just in the bounce house. He's able to get his W off and delay his own death by a second, which helps a lot for Snake in trying to disengage. And once the Righteous Glory comes in from Sky, he summons all of his cats, flashes the wall. You know he's going. The unfortunate thing is how this is positioned, because the package knocks Crystal over, gets him to safety, and distances himself enough that a flash and a heal are used from LWX, including the ultimate, to try and just lock him down. Now, once the red buff's on, obviously he is dead.
Yeah.
But boy, did Crystal last a long time when he shouldn't have.
He made it real far. Now, Cloud Dragon being started by SOFM. Again, he's trying to put the team on his back, but there's nobody here to help him take it. Crisp and Swift set up some vision and see the roam from both Hoodie and Crystal. And now that LWX is making his way back over there, this has become a much less enticing prospect.
Yeah, it's suddenly
Snake.
become like a very low amount of summoners team fight, where a teleport's actually being done. Snake are looking for this. They are absolutely committing.
Gogo's trying to go in, stand united from his adjacent ally. Again, the Nature's Grasp as Crisp goes for the knockup. SOFM flashes into the cat, trying to take the tunnel as Gogo in the back. LWX is low, ignited and burned. He goes down. Now Coco has got to do the damage. It's 3 versus 5. That's the knockup. 3 versus 4. He's over the wall, firing onto Hoodie as Sky is healing up so much, finally getting the late game tank status, but it's not enough. He dies as Coco starts his recall, blast cone.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And Coco loops around. Now he's been spotted by the ward. Finally will die.
And Snake win the team fight. They don't secure the Drake for themselves, but that doesn't matter too much. It's just a Cloud Drake. Yeah. They're happy. Newbee, that's not how you meant to play this one out. And we already mentioned it. It's a very low summoner spell team fight. LWX basically dies in one hit from Guoguo. He's got his Lich Bane, he's got his items, and he's starting to scale up to be a monster running around on the Rift. And that could be the beginning of the end for LWX in game number 2. Coco can only do so much damage by himself. And they didn't even have the item spike timing. So Newbee, a rare mistake.
Mistake that might end up paying off for them as Baron has spawned and with Newbee off the map. Snake now get the opportunity to set up vision. Excuse me, a mistake that pays off for Snake. As they've got wards all over the place. They've got good shred on that Varus, Blade of the Ruined King. Like you said, big damage now on the Kassadin now that the Lich Bane is done.
And Swift is still performing incredibly well, so their engage has been quite nice from the side of Newbee. That's something that they can still look towards and be thankful for it existing. They've got a tank in the support role. They have a very big tank now starting to crop up through the top lane. So Newbee are equipped for certain things. It's just you feel like Snake are more equipped because they can win lanes very easily, even now.
Impressive that even this far in playoffs, a single defeat away from complete elimination, they are still putting up big numbers. But their clock is running low. While the Kassadin gets big, so too does the Vayne.
Indeed, has the Infinity Edge now completed. So LWX, he's got his 2 items. And whilst the timing of the last fight was not ideal as he had 3 components and not a completed one, well, now it starts to shift. It's Coco, obviously looking confident. Has an Alistar nearby, so
hey,
yeah, got him.
They both see each other, but neither of them thinks the other sees it. Quite interesting. Now SFM walks forward. There's no one there to support Swift because LWX is catching minions mid, and Flandre is bottom. So that means the vision again reclaimed by Snake. And things get a chance to take a breath before the game explodes. Even Crystal's getting pretty big.
Swift has vowed his life for LWX as well, and he's about to find out that SOFM wants his.
Still has the explosive cast.
He's in trouble, actually.
He drops it on top of himself. The follow-up from Hoodie. He wants that kill. Stand United to get in as another skirmish breaks out. LWX goes in, and Crystal is dead. LWX, he turns towards Flandre, and he's going to do a lot, but the dodge zone that we mentioned denies the damage. His team has abandoned him, though, and Flandre, heroic though it is, dies.
Only denies it for a time, Dom. You have to remember this is all around the Baron buff. They're looking firstly for one more kill.
Oh, he's found a lot more. Tries to chase it, but the shield allows him to jump to SOFM. And they're both retreating. Ooh, a quick tunnel and another new knight. And it's not Baron that looks like are in Newbee sights. They look for the mid-tier 1.
They'll take the easy objective. The jungler is dead, SOFM is alive. Not a risk you need to take, but with the Baron being alive, they're able to use that to try and find another pick. With the package there, they're able to try and find anybody that goes into even their own jungle of the side of Snake. And just like that, any advantages that Snake had almost completely wiped away. They're engaging onto Swift. Well, they got him. They did kill the tank. But it took so long
that the Vayne was able to join the fight.
Kudos to Swift, not just because the ultimate knocks them away. Think about what was used, but this body slam. He's just about to die. He still has the awareness to body slam, sets LWX up, tumbles and dodges the taunt. And whilst he's not doing damage now, only for a time, of course he'll get the 3rd proc, it'll crit. Flandre realizes that LWX is a thing that could still kill him even as a tank. He has no armor for the record, Flandre.
That's a big Vayne. Now, we do see an attempt at a pick. Ward being placed. I've used this trick myself. I don't recommend it.
I feel like it's going to be a Knight's Vow on Flandre as well, namely as his next item, just based off what he has. Could be Warmocks, but it's not what we're looking at. That's curious. He has no armor at the moment. It's just the cloth.
Well,
and Tabi.
What else are you supposed to do against a Vayne?
Randuin's.
Okay. It's health and armor?
Well, Vayne crits and Randuin's lowers crits.
Yeah. Okay.
Thorn Mail. But then the 3-hit passive, you don't have enough. You know, I think Randuin's is obviously the way to go, but currently the problem is they were fighting when Vayne 3 hits them.
They're going over the Baron right now. Sky does not have teleport, but Flandre does. The mobility of the Shen, which means it's a 4v5.
They know it's being done.
Chris steps in. He's looking for a Hoodie. going to knock him away. LWX taps him with
Swift.
the static shiv, looks for damage. He's taunted, and he's going to be knocked up, but he's still alive. Gogo chases. He tries to outplay this. LWX gets the auto attack and the kill. He's still alive and locks down 1, 2. The flash from Flandre to finally kill it, but Coco has been cleaning it up on the far side. This is going to be the ace as Sky joins in only to kill Flandre, and Newbee are acing Snake.
And having the Baron going around them at the exact same time. Everything that Newbee wanted is theirs. The QSS Q play from LWX and the red buff even able to secure his 3rd kill. And suddenly Newbee in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. Snake are watching their 2017 lives flash before their eyes because this is getting closer and closer to the end. Newbee are 1 Nexus away from eliminating their opponents. They have just broken the inhibitor and they've still got Baron.
And Snake have done it to themselves. They start the Baron, they lose the team fight, they lose the Baron buff, and everything that Newbee wanted is theirs. And that was a decision that Snake made that results in this. We get, of course, to see the replay. Swift, he's looking for it. Our eyes are always going to be on LWX, however.
But it's Swift on the side with the steal.
Is the thing you don't see. So he's able to get the smite. This from LWX. Very stylish. Tumbles saved by Swift. Swift is honestly playing his heart out. Flandre has to flash taunt to secure it. But then Flandre just sacrifices his own AD carry to go for that play and kill the Vayne. Maybe that saved the game from Flandre, but really, I mean, that was a desperate move. He's now 2-6. This is not a good performance.
Yeah, Snake are running out of chips to gamble in this series if they want to try to win here. They've got scaling, they've got damage, but do they have enough to bring down the Maokai, to bring down the Vayne and Corki? Baron's still on them for another few minutes, and with 1 inhibitor already down, you can bet Newbee are looking at the 2nd.
I just don't know how much I need to stress this as well, though, Dom, with how well Swift is playing currently.
Yeah.
It starts from first blood, and now it all actually crescendos at a moment where he steals Baron and saves his AD carry from the clutches of death just barely. Out of his mind performance so far.
And suddenly that first pick Gragas makes a lot more sense. Put him on something comfortable and let him carry his team. Now they've moved their vision forward and they're prepping to siege that top tier 2 as Coco brings a package up towards that mid lane to escort those super minions and get them in even faster. But LWX starts firing, and that turret's health isn't going to last much longer.
And this is probably the last opportunity that Snake has.
Oh, Crystal is caught. He flashes back, but LWX is taunted. Still under the turret, but now he's turning on to SOFM, who's left as the rest of his team retreats. Still tanking the turret. He dies as Guogo locks down the kill. And Coco at low health trying to finish it off. He looks for it, but Guogo with the Zanyas kills him. And Hoodie shows up for the save. Flandre with the taunt to save his Kassadin. Snake kill the carries and win the fight.
An overreach from Newbee. Swift going for the dive instead of securing the structure because he finds Crystal. Well, he does find Crystal, but LWX finds himself tanking a turret endlessly and going down for it. So Snake, I was literally just about to say this is their last chance to win a team fight or they lose the game. Well, they win the team fight. Compliments of a decision from Newbee. So a misstep from them twice now in this game. LWX, look at him. He's stuck. He QSS's, and it's still hitting him. So he just dies basically to the turret. That's a death recap nobody wants to look at. Coco flashes, hits the turret with his rapid fire cannon, and then dies to it as well. Their worst enemy is not even the roster of Snake. It's the objectives that stand in front of them.
Turret gets the MVP of that fight, and it keeps Snake in the game. It's 1,500 gold separating the 2 teams.
I actually want the MVP to go to the structures if Snake win this game.
Turrets, Barons, and Dragons. Well, that Vayne is going to become a lot scarier now. As Zeke's convergence is finished off on Crisp. If you thought that Vayne was a nuisance before, it's even more so now. Crystal went for a Gwynsu's Rage Blade on this Varus. As the Zanyas, you already saw, was finished for Guoguo. Big item completions all the way across the board. The tanks are getting tanky. The damage dealers are doing damage.
The QSS was an important purchase for LWX, and because he's playing Vayne and has enough organic damage from the 3-hit of his Silver Bolts, then he goes towards a Hex Drinker. So this means that Guoguo won't be able to one-hit him outright. It'll take a couple of rotations, but that's where the Zonias comes into play for a level 17 Kassadin. It means he will get multiple rotations off, so there is some degree of outplay required from both of them, and that means it comes closer to that skill matchup. Crystal, if he survives, will be doing a lot of damage with the Gwynsus that you mentioned as well. And we are at this point now where the tanks can make the difference, but so can the carries, depending on how well they play. And Snake, they won a team fight. They bought themselves just that little bit more time. Doesn't put them back into the game too much, because Newbee still have this feeling of momentum, honestly, that's still backing them.
They are rolling forward, and though the snowball might have lost a bit of mass in that last fight, it is still massive. And Flandre, we're pushing bottom, Stand United and Teleport, but Sky is already showing top, and the structure, that bastion that saved Snake's life just a few moments ago, will crumble. Have Snake recovered mentally enough to see it fall and maintain themselves throughout this series? They cannot afford to lose another fight.
It looks to be their strategy is to continue with Flandre split pushing. It doesn't feel like Maokai can do too much to stop him. Could still clear minions decently. Doesn't really have the same capabilities that Flandre will have. That was the Knight's Vow for Flandre, for the record. He didn't go towards Aranduans. I'm hoping that that's where his next item is. We'll find out.
Giant Spelt and Warden's Mail.
There you go.
He is going in the right direction if that's where he wants to end up.
And the Knight's Vow on Flandre is definitely an interesting one. Of course, able to protect one teammate from extra burst and move faster towards people. So my inclination here is that Flandre will choose Guoguo to go in the front lines with him. Or to be the front lines rather, get into the back line of Newbee. Complement each other, and SOFM gets to play a bit more defensive with the Knight's Vow of his own, maybe look towards Crystal.
There's another Talisman of Ascension for Hootie too, so plenty of opportunity for motion and movement around these fights. Very flexible as long as they keep that Varus safe so that he can dish out damage.
Hootie's also optimized his build for being able to engage often and use summoner spells often. So Talisman, but then he's also gone Ruby Sidestone with Boots of Lucidity, and then he's rushed Ardent Sensor. The problem with his build, whilst I could see it, is he's actually pretty squishy still.
Yeah.
Any kind of magic damage, which is what Corki has a lot of, will destroy him.
And now the Infinity Edge and Quicksilver Sash for Coco have been finished off too, so should a fight be volatile enough, that could be a very quick end to that Rakan if he finds himself not getting that knock-up onto Corki. 34 minutes in. Baron is up. Newbee are sweeping out the vision. They've got the momentum to try pushing it down again.
They're already doing it.
And they are immediately turning on to the Baron. Here comes Snake.
Snake definitely going to look towards fighting this one. You can't just take a Baron without them having a say. LWX is going to try and zone away Guoguo. This is a very delicate situation for both teams to be contending with.
Coco still sitting on that package. It's about to time
there
out, though. That's the auto attack onto Hootie. But Guoguo joins in too soon. The Stand United, the submarine comp. LWX flashes the wall, but the Kassadin chases and locks him down. He flashes and sidesteps the kill as Coco chases him, leaving his tanks to die. Crystal shreds through, and Guoguo still alive. Finally, he goes down, but the rest of Newbee have fallen. It's 2 versus 4.
Coco had to chase and get the kill, or Kassadin could have came back at any moment and bursted them. But this means they may have to sacrifice the Baron. Swift and Coco need to be heroes.
15 to 14. Swift has got the higher smite, but it's going to be damage from Coco to prep them. Big damage onto SOFM. Flandre zones on the side.
Coco's chunking them.
Smite is used way too soon as SOFM chases for the health. Newbee looks for it, and Flandre locks down the kill, but now Swift is going to zone them away.
They don't get Baron. There's absolutely no way they get it. Coco is putting in work, smacking them all around. Shen taunts him. He just QSSs, walks past the Shen and throws more rockets at the Baron pit. They know exactly what their priorities are, and that is preventing the objective from going down. Now, thankfully, for Newbee, they get one more opportunity, as there's a very clever engage coming out of the side of Snake. Package was a good zoning tool, but nothing's going to stop the Kassadin from getting on top of you, and then he runs. So that happens. Crisp, Sky, and Swift are 3 tanks in a world where they have no Vayne to protect anymore, and suddenly this is an absolute nightmare for them as they just get stuck in the bounce house. But still, they kill the Kassadin. That's the important part. They stop him from being here.
So I love what SOFM does here. He smites, and then he uses the Void Rush to catch up to Coco. So he tags him with the damage here.
He does.
Realizes he's not going to get the Baron.
You have to say at what cost, though, because that realization came at his life, basically. So Smites gets the health, goes in, just gets chunked out, and has to walk away. And with health that low, yes, they turned. Yes, they got the kill. They already lost their support during that. So they were still trading. And for Newbee in a position with such a severe number disadvantage, they were trading up.
Always a good thing for Newbee. as they're up in kills by 1, 19 to 18, and they're up by 1,500 gold. They're turning back towards the Baron. They're going to try to bait the same fight again.
And they're happy to hit it to bait it. It's super risky, Dom.
Flaunder's got to stand united again, but this time Sky is ready with a teleport of his own and his Nature's Grasp. LWX is shredding.
Swift has flash. Just keep your eyes on him. If they choose to turn, they can.
Gogo goes in. He's got stand united. Again, the submarine onto Swift. He's caught in. The huge cast to separate them. LWX is firing, but Hoodie is out of the fight. LWX trying to get the kills as Baron contributes from the side. SOFM separated, knocked up, locked up. He gets more damage, but it's not enough. They can't compete with the Vayne. They can't compete with the Corki, and they're getting these kills here. Crystal step forward, but it's not enough. 4 members of Snake are dead.
And Newbee, they looked at the Baron, they said, no, we're pushing middle lane right now. Kassadin, if he does survive, might be enough to hold them off, but he doesn't have the Zhonya's Hourglass. Newbee, they're making the play. They're choosing the free objective. I would imagine inhibitor to Baron, but you never know.
They might just try to end the game right here and right now. Eliminate Snake from playoffs entirely. They move past the inhib. And it's still 20 seconds before SOFM is up. The replacement for Zatai showing up in the last chance. And look at the crowd control. Look at the burst damage. He backs up to the fountain as his Nexus turret has fallen. But Hoodie is up in 1 second. And LWX, along with the rest of Newbee, are breaking it down the cast to pin them. He goes in. Swift is going to survive as LWX turns forward. He's finishing it off. The quickness to stall it out. But the Nexus has fallen.